Welcome to today's episode of Ancient Mysteries Unveiled. Picture this. You're standing in the shadow of the Great Pyramid of Giza. Its massive limestone blocks towering 481 feet above you. Each stone weighs as much as a modern car. Yet somehow, over 4,500 years ago, ancient humans managed to cut, transport, and position 2.3 million of these blocks with breathtaking precision. But here is the question that has puzzled archaeologists for centuries. Did early humans really build the first pyramids? The answer might surprise you. While Egypt's pyramids dominate our imagination, whispers from archaeological sites around the world suggest pyramid-like structures may have existed thousands of years before the first Egyptian pharaoh ever dreamed of eternal glory. From the mysterious terraced hills of Indonesia to the ancient settlements of Peru, evidence is emerging that challenges everything we thought we knew about early human capabilities. Were our ancestors far more advanced than we've given them credit for? Did they possess engineering knowledge that we're only now beginning to understand? Or are we looking at natural formations that time and wishful thinking have transformed into monuments to human achievement? Today, we'll journey through time to uncover the truth behind the world's earliest pyramids. We'll explore cutting-edge archaeological discoveries, examine ancient construction techniques that still baffle modern engineers, and investigate claims that could rewrite human history. The story we're about to tell will challenge your assumptions about our ancestors and reveal just how remarkable early human civilization truly was. Chapter 1. The Dawn of Monumental Construction. The first light of dawn breaks across the Egyptian desert, illuminating the weathered face of the Step Pyramid of Djoser. At nearly 4,700 years old, this six-tiered monument stands as humanity's first known attempt to build with dressed stone on a monumental scale. But to understand whether early humans really built the first pyramids, we must first understand what constitutes a pyramid and when humans first began reaching toward the sky. The Pyramid of Djoser, built around 263–02610 BCE during Egypt's Third Dynasty, represents a revolutionary moment in human architecture. Before this remarkable structure, Egyptian rulers were buried in low, rectangular tombs called mastabas. But Pharaoh Djoser's architect, a man named Imhotep, envisioned something far grander, a stairway to the heavens. The pyramid originally stood 62.5 meters, 205 feet tall, with a base of 109 by 121 meters and was clad in polished white limestone. This wasn't simply a larger tomb. It was a complete reimagining of what human construction could achieve. The social implications were staggering. Building such a structure required an unprecedented level of state control over both materials and human resources. The construction of Djoser's pyramid reveals the sophisticated understanding early humans had already developed. The pyramid went through several revisions and redevelopments of the original plan, showing that even the ancients learned through experimentation. Workers began with traditional mastaba construction, then added layer upon layer, each smaller than the one below, creating the distinctive step profile. The engineering challenges were immense. Teams of workers had to quarry limestone blocks using copper tools and wooden levers. Experimental archaeology indicates that wooden levers worked better than wedges for removing blocks from bedrock, and modern quarrymen have calculated that 12 workmen could produce 8.5 stones in a day using ancient techniques. What makes Djoser's pyramid truly remarkable isn't just its size, but what it represents about early human capabilities. This was the first monumental structure made of stone, setting important precedents for all future pyramid construction. The precision required was extraordinary. Workers had to align the structure to cardinal directions, ensure level foundations across acres of ground, and coordinate the labor of thousands of people over decades. The pyramid complex extended far beyond the central monument. The complex covers 15 hectares and is about 2.5 times as large as the old kingdom town of Hierakonpolis. This wasn't just a tomb. It was a complete religious and administrative center, demonstrating the organizational sophistication of early Egyptian civilization. The tools available to these early pyramid builders would seem primitive by modern standards, yet they achieved results that continue to amaze engineers today. Stonecutters used copper drills and saws, probably using a quartz slurry to aid in the process. Copper chisels were used to smooth the sides of stones, though they needed constant sharpening. Large dolerite stones were used as pounders to excavate the channels needed to free a block from the bedrock. Even more ingeniously, archaeologists have discovered what appears to be a primitive pulley system, a mushroom-shaped stone with 3 grooves that could redirect the force on ropes used to move blocks. Perhaps most impressive of all was the human organization required. Mark Lenner calculated that a crew of 1,212 men working for 23 years could have easily quarried all the stone in the Great Pyramid. But these weren't slaves toiling under the whip. Archaeological evidence from worker settlements shows these were skilled craftsmen who were well-fed and received medical care. The construction process required careful planning and incredible precision. Alignment to the cardinal points of the compass was most likely accomplished by astronomical observation, using stars to establish true north. Foundation levels had to be perfect to support the enormous weight of upper courses, achieved through sophisticated surveying techniques. While Egypt's step pyramid represents our earliest clear evidence of pyramid construction, intriguing hints suggest pyramid-like structures may have existed elsewhere. Preceded by assumed earlier sites in the eastern Sahara, tumuli with megalithic monuments developed as early as 4700 BCE in the Saharan region of Niger. Some archaeologists propose these may have served as antecedents for Egyptian pyramid construction. The transition from Djoser's step pyramid to the true smooth-sided pyramids took place during the reign of King Sneferu, who experimented with different angles and construction techniques. The bent pyramid was the Egyptians' first attempt at building a smooth-sided pyramid, though structural instability forced builders to change the angle midway through construction. Djoser's pyramid established a template for all future pyramid construction. It demonstrated that early humans possessed not only the technical skills necessary for monumental construction, but also the social organization required to coordinate such massive undertakings. The pyramid represented a convergence of mathematics, astronomy, engineering, and human organization that would influence civilization for millennia. As we'll discover in our next chapter, this Egyptian innovation was just the beginning. The techniques developed at Saqqara would soon evolve into even more ambitious projects, culminating in the construction of the Great Pyramid of Giza, a monument that still ranks among humanity's greatest engineering achievements. Chapter 2. Engineering Marvels. The scorching sun beats down on the Giza Plateau as you stand before the Great Pyramid, its limestone blocks stretching endlessly upward. This isn't just a tomb. It is a testament to the extraordinary engineering capabilities that early humans developed in the centuries following Djoser's revolutionary step pyramid. But how did ancient builders, working with copper tools and human muscle, create structures that continue to baffle modern engineers? Khufu's pyramid is perhaps the most colossal single building ever erected on the planet. Its sides rise at an angle of 5,152 and are accurately oriented to the 4 cardinal points of the compass. The precision is staggering. The entire 13.1-acre base was leveled within a fraction of an inch, comparable to the accuracy possible with modern construction methods and laser leveling. Approximately 2.3 million blocks of stone were cut, transported, and assembled to create the 5.75 million-ton structure, which is a masterpiece of technical skill and engineering ability. Each block averaged 2.5 tons, with some granite blocks in the internal chambers weighing up to 80 tons. The logistics alone boggle the mind. How do you coordinate the cutting, transport, and precise placement of millions of stone blocks? Contrary to popular belief, the pyramids weren't built by slaves. Recent archaeological discoveries have revolutionized our understanding of the workforce. Evidence suggests that around 5,000 were permanent workers on salaries, with the balance working 3 or 4 month shifts in lieu of taxes while receiving subsistence wages of 10 loaves of bread and a jug of beer per day. The workers lived in a sophisticated settlement that archaeologists have dubbed the Lost City of the Pyramids. Mark Leonard describes a complex of long barracks, separated by wide paved streets. That was thousands of years before its time. The experience of being in this sort of ancient hotel must have been radically different from life in a village back home. This wasn't just housing, it was a complete support infrastructure. The city housed a community of craft workers, those that fed, sheltered, and clothed the pyramid workforce, made their tools, and otherwise supported the gargantuan effort. Evidence from ancient garbage shows that workers were valued members of society who enjoyed medical care, plentiful bread and beer, and prime beef. The engineering innovations developed during the Old Kingdom were remarkable. Scientists have discovered evidence of a ramp system cut into rock, flanked on both sides by staircases marked with recurring holes that could have contained wooden posts. This discovery predates similar pulley systems in Greek technology by some 2,000 years. The ancient Egyptians developed ingenious solutions to transport heavy blocks and position them precisely in the pyramid structure. They pulled sleds carrying the stones over damp sand, reducing friction and making it easier to transport the heavy blocks. This simple but effective technique allowed teams to move massive stones across the desert. One of the biggest mysteries in pyramid construction involves how builders raised massive stones to dizzying heights. Most Egyptologists acknowledge that ramps are the most tenable of the methods to raise the blocks. Yet they acknowledge that it is an incomplete method that must be supplemented by another device. Various theories have been proposed. Some scholars suggest straight ramps, others propose zigzag or spiral ramps, and still others theorize about internal ramp systems. The archaeological evidence supports multiple approaches, suggesting that different pyramids may have used different techniques as builders refined their methods. The tools available to pyramid builders were surprisingly sophisticated for their era. Blocks were moved using sleds with water or possibly oil poured underneath. Ropes and levers were used to position stones in certain instances, though there is no evidence of pulleys. Mortar made of gypsum, plaster, and sand was very soft like butter. The advantages of gypsum mortar is that it is slow setting and, while it is setting, it can act as a sort of lubricant to lessen the friction between large blocks. This technique is still used in certain modern construction projects in dry environments. The precision achieved by ancient builders is almost incomprehensible. The Great Pyramids are perfectly situated to have their sides line up to north, south, east, and west. The accuracy is uncanny for the time period, likely achieved by accurately observing the North Star and using a plumb line. Measurements were done using the royal cubit, which measured 52.5 centimeters and would normally be represented by a rod. The pyramid's base was designed to be almost perfectly square, using the rod as a measuring tool. This standardization allowed for unprecedented precision across the entire construction project. Building the pyramids required a supply chain that spanned the entire Egyptian empire. Boatmen used the Nile River and a network of artificial waterways to bring materials to the Giza Plateau, including granite from Aswan quarries, copper cutting tools from the Sinai Peninsula, and timber from Lebanon. In 2024, archaeologists using radar satellite imagery identified segments of a major extinct Nile branch running to the foothills of the Western Desert Plateau, where the majority of the pyramids lie, which they named the Aramat branch. This discovery suggests that water transport played an even larger role in pyramid construction than previously thought. The Old Kingdom pyramid builders weren't working from a perfect blueprint. They were innovating in real time. Snefru's experimental approach during construction of multiple pyramids provided crucial research and development. It's almost like Snefru did all the R&D work, archaeologist Mark Leonard notes. Khufu was able to take full advantage of all this and build the Great Pyramid. The bent pyramid perfectly illustrates this experimental approach. About halfway up, the angle of incline decreases from over 51 degrees to about 43 degrees, probably made during construction to give the building more stability. This real-time problem-solving demonstrates the adaptability and engineering insight of ancient builders. Modern attempts to recreate pyramid construction techniques have validated many ancient methods. Experimental projects have built small pyramids using ancient techniques, with 12 quarrymen carving 186 stones in 22 days, and the structure erected using 44 men. While modern shortcuts were used, like iron tools instead of copper, the experiments confirmed that ancient techniques were entirely capable of achieving the results we see at Giza. The engineering achievements of the Old Kingdom represent a quantum leap in human capability. In the span of just a few centuries, builders went from simple mastaba tombs to the most precise large-scale construction project in human history. These weren't primitive people stumbling toward greatness. They were sophisticated engineers whose techniques and organizational methods laid the foundation for all subsequent monumental architecture. Chapter 3. The Mystery of Pre-Egyptian Pyramids. Deep in the jungles of Indonesia, on a hilltop called Gunung Padang. Controversial. Archaeological claims are challenging everything we think we know about early human civilization. Dr. Danny Hillman. Natawijah stands atop what he believes could be the world's oldest pyramid, not 4,000 years old like those in Egypt, but potentially 27,000 years old, predating the end of the last ice age. But are these claims revolutionary discoveries or archaeological wishful thinking? Geologist Danny Hillman Natawijah has conducted studies of Gunung Padang using ground-penetrating radar and drill cores, proposing that the entire hill may have been constructed by humans as a penetrating radar and drill cores, proposing that the entire hill may have been constructed by humans as a step pyramid, with the earliest layers potentially built 16,000 to 27,000 years ago. If true, this would make it not just the oldest pyramid, but the oldest human-made structure on Earth. The site comprises 5 stepped stone terraces with retaining walls and connecting staircases, sitting atop an extinct volcano. The surface structure, which most archaeologists accept as human-made, dates to between 300 and 2000 BC, but Natawijah's team claims to have found evidence of much older construction beneath. Natawijah says that because Gunung Padang was constructed before the end of the last ice age, it shows that people from that time were capable of building complex structures, making it a very interesting monument. The implications would be staggering, suggesting that complex civilization existed thousands of years before the accepted timeline. However, the archaeological community has responded with considerable skepticism. Bill Farley, an archaeologist at Southern Connecticut State University, says the paper has not provided evidence that an advanced civilization existed during the last ice age. The 27,000-year-old soil samples, although accurately dated, do not carry hallmarks of human activity, such as charcoal or bone fragments. Lutfi Yandri, an archaeologist at Brin in Bandung, Indonesia, says his work has shown that people in the region inhabited caves between 12,000 and 6,000 years ago, long after the pyramid was supposedly built, and no excavations from this period have revealed evidence of sophisticated stonemasonry. The controversy highlights a fundamental challenge in archaeology, distinguishing between natural geological formations and human-made structures, especially when dealing with very ancient sites where evidence of human activity may have long since disappeared. While the Indonesian claims remain disputed, there's no controversy about pyramid construction in the Americas, occurring much earlier than many people realize. The pyramid city of Caral in Peru's Sup Valley is contemporary with the first pyramid of Egypt. The Norte Chico civilization that inhabited the city is the first known civilization in the Americas. Caral was the capital city of the Norte Chico civilization and was a metropolis with complex agricultural practices, temples, an amphitheater, sunken circular plazas, residential areas, and 6 large pyramidal structures. Built around 26-27 BCE, these pyramids demonstrate that pyramid building was not unique to Egypt but emerged independently in different parts of the world. Even more intriguing are discoveries in the Sahara Desert that may predate Egyptian pyramids. Preceded by assumed earlier sites in the Eastern Sahara, tumuli with megalithic monuments developed as early as 4700 BCE in the Saharan region of Niger. Some archaeologists suggest these may have served as antecedents for the mastabas and pyramids of ancient Egypt. These discoveries raise fascinating questions about the spread of architectural ideas across ancient Africa. Did pyramid building techniques develop independently in multiple locations, or was there some form of cultural transmission across vast distances in prehistoric times? The challenge in identifying the first pyramids lies partly in defining what constitutes a pyramid. Natural hills can be modified to appear pyramid-like. Earthen mounds can be built up in stepped fashion, and stone can be added to existing formations. At Saqqara, Mastaba 3808, dating from the latter part of the First Dynasty, was discovered to contain a large, independently built step pyramid-like structure enclosed within the outer palace facade mastaba. This discovery suggests that pyramid-like construction may have been experimented with even before Djoser's famous step pyramid. However, these earlier structures were smaller and less sophisticated than the monument that marked the true beginning of the Pyramid Age. The central question isn't just when the first pyramids were built, but whether early humans had the capability to build them. Archaeological records show that the transition from hunter-gatherer societies to complex societies occupying large settlements occurred after the commencement of the Holocene 11,700 years ago. The oldest known city is the 9,000-year-old site of Catalukin, what is now Turkey. This timeline makes claims of 27,000-year-old pyramid construction extremely difficult to accept. Such construction would require not just the ability to move and shape stones, but also the social organization necessary to coordinate large-scale construction projects over extended periods. Even in Egypt, the development toward pyramid construction was gradual. From the time of the early dynastic period, c. 315-026-86 BCE, Egyptians with sufficient means were buried in bench-like structures known as mastabas. The evolution from simple pit graves to mastabas to step pyramids to true pyramids represents a clear developmental sequence spanning centuries. During pre-dynastic Egypt, burial practices show increasing sophistication, but nothing approaching the organizational complexity required for pyramid construction. The social and technological infrastructure necessary for monumental architecture developed gradually as Egyptian civilization grew more complex. Today's archaeologists have powerful tools for investigating these claims. Ground-penetrating radar, satellite imagery, and sophisticated dating techniques can reveal subsurface structures and provide accurate ages for organic materials. However, these tools also reveal the challenges of interpreting archaeological evidence. Natawija's theory has attracted criticism from other archaeologists, so more evidence and consensus is needed before such an early origin can be reasonably ratified. Science progresses through peer review and replication of results, not individual claims, however sensational. What emerges from examining pre-Egyptian pyramid claims is a pattern of human innovation occurring independently around the world. While the specific claims about 27,000-year-old Indonesian pyramids remain unproven, The broader picture shows humans developing monumental architecture in multiple locations during roughly the same period. The pyramids of Cairo, the megalithic monuments of the Sahara, and the mastabas of early Egypt all point to a critical period in human development when societies became sufficiently organized and technically sophisticated to undertake large-scale construction projects. Rather than looking for a single first pyramid, it may be more useful to understand pyramid construction as part of a broader innovation in human civilization. The period between 5000 and 2500 BCE saw the development of writing, the wheel, metallurgy, and monumental architecture across different civilizations. This suggests that pyramid construction was an isolated innovation, but part of a larger transformation in human capabilities. The Egyptians may not have built the very first pyramid-like structures, but they certainly perfected the form and demonstrated its ultimate potential in monuments like the Great Pyramid of Giza. The mystery of pre-Egyptian pyramids reminds us that human innovation often occurs simultaneously in different places, driven by similar needs and capabilities. While we may never definitively answer which humans built the very first pyramid, we can appreciate the remarkable achievement that pyramid construction represents in the story of human civilization. Chapter 4. Ancient Construction Secrets. The massive granite blocks in the king's chamber of the Great Pyramid each weigh up to 80 tons more than the heaviest modern crane can lift. Yet somehow, 4,500 years ago, ancient builders maneuvered these colossal stones through narrow passages and positioned them with millimeter precision. Recent archaeological discoveries are finally revealing the ingenious techniques that allowed early humans to achieve what seems impossible, even by today's standards. The first challenge ancient builders faced was extracting millions of tons of stone from living rock. Recent archaeological excavations have uncovered the sophisticated quarrying techniques that made pyramid construction possible. A man with a pick cut channels wide and thick enough to allow wooden levers to enter around the rectangular blocks that would be removed from the bedrock. The blocks were then pried from bedrock with levers. Experimental archaeology indicates that wooden levers worked better than wedges for removing blocks from bedrock, and 12 workmen could produce 8.5 stones in a day using ancient tools. This wasn't random hacking at stone. It was a carefully planned industrial process that required skilled workers who understood geology and stone behavior. The tools themselves were remarkably sophisticated for their era. Stonecutters used copper drills and saws, probably using a quartz slurry to aid in the process. The slurry was a solution of water, sand, and gypsum. Evidence of these slurries has been found in ancient cuts where they stained the stone green from copper oxidation. Moving millions of stone blocks across desert terrain without wheels or modern machinery required ingenious solutions. The ancient Egyptians developed a simple but effective technique. They pulled sleds carrying the stones over damp sand, reducing friction and making it easier to transport the heavy blocks. But the transport system was far more sophisticated than simple sledding. Egypt's oldest papyrus fragments detail the construction of the Great Pyramid, including a logbook from an inspector named Mir, who led a team of sailors and detailed construction operations over several months. Mir's journal reveals a complex supply chain that used boats on the Nile to transport materials from quarries hundreds of miles away. Mir mentions stopping at Tura, a town along the Nile famous for its limestone quarry, filling his boat with stone and taking it up the Nile River to Giza. This wasn't just local construction. It was a nationwide infrastructure project that coordinated resources from across the Egyptian empire. Perhaps no aspect of pyramid construction has generated more debate than how builders raised massive stones to extreme heights. A recent discovery at Hatnab revealed a ramp system flanked on both sides by staircases marked with recurring holes that could have contained wooden posts, creating a sophisticated rope and pulley system that predates similar Greek technology by 2,000 years. This system is composed of a central ramp flanked by two staircases with numerous post holes. Using a sled which carried a stone block and was attached with ropes to wooden posts, ancient Egyptians were able to pull up alabaster blocks out of the quarry on very steep slopes of 20% or more. Different pyramids likely used different ramp systems. Archaeological evidence for the use of ramps has been found at the Great Pyramid of Giza and other pyramids, though there is considerable evidence demonstrating that non-standardized or ad hoc construction methods were used in pyramid construction. The precision achieved by ancient builders continues to astound modern engineers. The logistics of construction at the Giza site are staggering when you think that the ancient Egyptians had no pulleys, no wheels, and no iron tools. This precision wasn't accidental. It required sophisticated measurement and surveying techniques. Alignment to the cardinal points of the compass was most likely accomplished by astronomical observation. True north could have been established by dividing the angle of a rising and setting star by 2, or the sun could have been used through measuring the length of a shadow at various times of the day. Even the mortar used in pyramid construction was more sophisticated than it appears. Gypsum mortar was soft like butter and was made of plaster and sand. The advantages of gypsum mortar is that it's a slow-setting mortar that can act as a form of lubricant to lessen friction between larger blocks while it sets. This wasn't just adhesive. It was an engineered material designed for specific construction challenges. This form of mortar is actually still used in some construction sites today, where there are drier environments. The ancient Egyptians had essentially invented a specialized construction material 4,500 years before modern engineers rediscovered its advantages. The greatest mystery remains how builders lifted the heaviest stones to the highest points. Some of the key methods theorized by scholars include leveraging using levers to lift heavy stones into place, rolling stones on logs or cylindrical objects to transport them, and various ramp systems to elevate stones. Recent analysis suggests the answer may lie in a combination of techniques. The method most accepted for assisting ramps is levering. Archaeological evidence gives evidence of only small ramps and inclined causeways, not something that could have been used to construct even a majority of the monument. This suggests that builders used multiple approaches, ramps for the majority of stones, but lever systems for the heaviest blocks that couldn't be easily ramped. The precision required for such operations would have demanded master craftsmen with years of experience. The construction techniques were only possible because of unprecedented workforce organization. Most archaeologists agree that only about 4,000 of the total workforce were laborers who quarried the stone, hauled blocks to the pyramid, and set the blocks in place. The vast majority of the workforce provided support services such as scribes, toolmakers, and other backup services. This reveals pyramid construction as a massive logistical operation requiring coordination between numerous specialized teams. The ancient Greek historian Herodotus wrote that it took 20 years to build and required the labor of 100,000 men. The scale of pyramid construction drove technological innovation across multiple fields. The burst of maritime activity was driven by the monumental undertaking. It is certain that the shipbuilding was made necessary by the gigantism of the royal building projects. This innovation extended beyond construction techniques to include advances in metallurgy, surveying, logistics, and project management. The pyramids weren't just monuments, they were catalysts for technological development across ancient Egyptian civilization. Modern attempts to recreate ancient construction techniques have largely validated the methods described in archaeological sources. They built a pyramid 6 meters high by 9 meters wide, consisting of 162 cubic meters, or about 405 tons. It was made out of 186 stones, weighing an average of 2.2 tons each. 12 quarrymen carved 186 stones in 22 days, and the structure was erected using 44 men. While modern shortcuts were used, iron tools instead of copper, The experiments confirmed that ancient techniques could achieve the precision and scale seen in actual pyramids. The construction techniques developed for pyramid building had lasting impact on civilization. What happened is that all the infrastructure that went into supporting this pyramid building became more important in its own right than building giant pyramids. The real advance was in organizing people. The organizational methods, precision techniques, and workforce management systems developed for pyramid construction influenced architecture and engineering for millennia. The pyramids weren't just monuments to pharaohs. They were schools for human innovation that taught lessons still relevant today. The secret of pyramid construction wasn't alien technology or lost ancient wisdom. It was human ingenuity, careful planning, and the coordinated effort of thousands of skilled workers. These early humans possessed the same intelligence and creativity that drives innovation today, applied with remarkable focus to create monuments that continue to inspire wonder 4,500 years later. Chapter 5. The workforce behind the monuments. Picture the scene. It's dawn near the Giza Plateau, and thousands of workers are already stirring in their barracks. The smell of fresh bread wafts from massive bakeries as butchers prepare cuts of prime beef for the day's meals. This isn't the picture of slave labor that Hollywood has painted, but rather the reality of one of history's most sophisticated work camps, a revelation that has completely changing how we understand who really built the pyramids. For centuries, the image of pyramid construction was dominated by the idea of countless slaves toiling under the harsh Egyptian sun, driven by whips and cruelty. This narrative, popularized by ancient Greek historians and reinforced by Hollywood movies, has now been completely debunked by modern archaeology. The people who built the pyramids weren't slaves at all. They were skilled workers, seasonal laborers, and permanent craftsmen who formed one of the ancient world's most organized workforces. The Greeks, writing many years after the pyramids were built, believed that the pyramids were constructed by slave labor. But archaeologists now believe that the Great Pyramid of Giza was built by tens of thousands of skilled workers who camped near the pyramids and worked for a salary or as a form of tax payment until the construction was completed. Evidence suggests that around 5,000 were permanent workers on salaries, with the balance working 3 or 4-month shifts in lieu of taxes while receiving subsistence wages of 10 loaves of bread and a jug of beer per day. These weren't desperate people forced into labor. They were valued members of society, participating in what had become a national project. Archaeological excavations have revealed a remarkable worker settlement that archaeologist Mark Leonard describes as being thousands of years before its time. The complex of long barracks was separated by wide paved streets, creating what Leonard calls an ancient hotel that would have been radically different from village life back home. This wasn't a hastily constructed slave camp, but a carefully planned urban environment. The city housed a community of craft workers, those who fed, sheltered, and clothed the pyramid workforce, made their tools, and supported the massive construction effort. Evidence shows that people rotated in and out, making it a socializing experience that brought together workers from across Egypt. The workers enjoyed amenities that would have been luxuries for many people of their era. They had access to medical care, as evidenced by healed fractures and surgical procedures found in skeletal remains. The quality of their diet was exceptional, with archaeological evidence showing they consumed prime beef, fresh bread, and abundant beer. The workforce organization required for pyramid construction was nothing short of revolutionary. Most archaeologists agree that only about 4,000 of the total workforce were laborers who actually quarried stone, hauled blocks, and set them in place. The vast majority provided crucial support services as scribes, toolmakers, bakers, brewers, butchers, and other specialists. This reveals pyramid construction as far more than a building project. It was a complex industrial operation requiring unprecedented coordination. Different teams specialized in different aspects: quarrying, transport, lifting, finishing, and logistics. Each group had to coordinate precisely with others to maintain the flow of materials and labor. The scale of organization is staggering when you consider that the ancient Egyptians had no modern communication systems. Coordinating the work of 20,000 people across multiple locations required sophisticated management systems and clear chains of command. Work gangs even had names like Craftsman Gang, showing the pride workers took in their specialized roles. One of the most ingenious aspects of pyramid construction was the seasonal labor system. Part-time crews of laborers probably supplemented the year-round masons and other skilled workers, working primarily during the Nile flood season when agricultural work was impossible. This system solved multiple problems simultaneously. It provided employment during agricultural downtime, brought together workers from across Egypt for knowledge sharing, and created a sustainable workforce model that could be maintained for decades. Workers weren't permanently displaced from their home communities, but could contribute to the national project while maintaining their local lives. The Greek historian Herodotus reported that his Egyptian guides told him 100,000 men were employed for 3 months, a year for 20 years to build the Great Pyramid. While modern estimates suggest smaller numbers, the seasonal rotation system Herodotus described appears to be accurate. The pyramid workforce represented the highest levels of skill available in the ancient world. Stonemasons had to achieve precision that rivals modern construction. Surveyors needed to maintain accurate measurements across vast distances. Engineers had to solve unprecedented problems of moving and lifting massive weights. Archaeological evidence reveals the sophisticated tools these workers used. Marks of the quarry workers are found on several stone blocks, showing they had organized work crews with specific responsibilities. The precision of the finished work demonstrates that these were unskilled laborers, but master craftsmen at the top of their professions. Different specializations required different skill sets. Quarrymen needed to understand geology and stone behavior. Transport teams required knowledge of leverage and mechanical advantage. Finishing crews needed artistic skills to achieve the smooth surfaces and precise angles visible in pyramid construction. Analysis of worker settlements reveals a diet that would have been exceptional for its time. Workers consumed massive quantities of meat, primarily beef and sheep, along with fish from the Nile. Bread was baked in industrial-scale bakeries, and beer was brewed in equally large quantities. The scale of food consumption was enormous. Cattle were brought from farms near the Nile Delta to feed the workforce. This required a supply chain spanning the entire Egyptian kingdom, demonstrating the national commitment to pyramid construction. Evidence from ancient garbage shows that workers weren't just adequately fed, but enjoyed higher quality nutrition than many people of their era. Bone analysis reveals that pyramid workers were generally healthy and well-nourished, with life expectancies comparable to or better than contemporary populations. Perhaps most remarkably, archaeological evidence shows that pyramid workers received sophisticated medical care. Skeletal remains show evidence of healed fractures that required expert treatment, surgical procedures, and extended recovery time. Workers who were injured on the job weren't simply discarded, but were treated and cared for during recovery. This represents a level of worker welfare that wouldn't be seen again until modern times. The investment in worker health demonstrates how valuable these skilled craftsmen were to the project. The care extended beyond just medical treatment. Worker housing was substantial and well-constructed, providing protection from the desert environment. Sanitation systems prevented disease, and food storage systems ensured consistent nutrition throughout the construction period. The workers who built the pyramids held respected positions in Egyptian society. They weren't at the bottom of the social hierarchy, but were skilled professionals whose expertise was highly valued. Work gang names inscribed on pyramid blocks show the pride workers took in their contributions to these monumental projects. Being selected to work on pyramid construction was likely seen as an honor rather than a burden. Workers were participating in projects that would outlast them by millennia, creating monuments that demonstrated Egypt's power and prosperity to the world. The social implications of pyramid construction extended far beyond the immediate workforce. The projects created demand for materials and services throughout Egypt, stimulating economic development across the kingdom. Communities throughout Egypt contributed workers, food, and materials for what became a truly national undertaking. The organizational innovations developed for pyramid construction had lasting impact on Egyptian civilization and beyond. The administrative systems, workforce management techniques, and logistics capabilities developed for these projects influenced Egyptian society for centuries. What happened is that all the infrastructure that went into supporting pyramid building became more important than the pyramids themselves. The real advance was in organizing people and coordinating large-scale project skills that would prove essential for maintaining Egyptian civilization. The workforce that built the pyramids wasn't composed of downtrodden slaves, but of skilled, valued workers who created some of humanity's greatest architectural achievements. Their story reminds us that monumental human achievements result not from oppression, but from organization, skill, and shared purpose. These early humans possessed not just the technical capabilities to build pyramids, but the social innovations necessary to coordinate such massive undertakings, achievements that continue to influence how we organize complex projects today. Chapter 6. Tools and Technologies. The copper chisel glints in the morning sun as the stonemason strikes it with a wooden mallet, sending chips of limestone flying with each precise blow. This scene, repeated millions of times over decades of construction, reveals one of archaeology's most fascinating paradoxes. How did ancient builders achieve unprecedented precision using tools that seem primitive by modern standards? The answer lies not in the tools themselves, but in the ingenious ways early humans adapted and refined their technology to overcome seemingly impossible challenges. The foundation of pyramid construction rested on humanity's mastery of copper metallurgy. Copper tools were the cutting edge of ancient technology, literally and figuratively. Stonecutters used copper drills and saws, probably using a quartz slurry to aid in the cutting process. This slurry was a solution of water, sand, and gypsum that acted as an abrasive, allowing copper tools to cut through much harder stone. Evidence of these techniques remains visible today. Remains of such slurries have been found in ancient cuts where they stained the stone green from copper oxidation. This wasn't random experimentation, but sophisticated materials science that understood how different substances could enhance tool performance. Copper chisels were used to smooth the sides of stones, though they required constant maintenance. Copper is relatively soft, so the chisels needed constant sharpening. Mark Lenner estimated that each 100 masons using such chisels would require one full-time chisel sharpener. This reveals the true scale of pyramid construction, not just the workers placing stones, but entire support networks maintaining the tools that made the work possible. The techniques for extracting stone from quarries demonstrated remarkable engineering insight. Large dolerite stones were used as pounders to excavate the channels needed to free blocks from bedrock. This wasn't random hammering, but a carefully planned process that understood stone grain and fracture patterns. Workers would cut channels wide and thick enough to allow wooden levers to enter around rectangular blocks. The blocks were then pried from bedrock with levers. Experimental archaeology indicates that wooden levers worked better than wedges for removing blocks, showing that ancient builders had tested and refined their techniques through trial and error. The precision achieved was remarkable. 12 quarrymen could produce 8.5 stones in a day using ancient tools and techniques. This wasn't just manual labor, but skilled craftsmanship that required understanding stone behavior, tool capabilities, and efficient work methods. One of the most significant recent discoveries involves evidence of sophisticated rope and pulley systems that predate similar Greek technology by 2,000 years. At Hatnub, archaeologists discovered a ramp system composed of a central ramp flanked by two staircases with numerous post holes. Using a sled which carried a stone block and was attached with ropes to wooden posts, ancient Egyptians were able to pull up alabaster blocks out of quarries on very steep slopes of 20% or more. This mechanical advantage system demonstrates that early humans understood principles of physics that we associate with much later civilizations. A mushroom-shaped stone with 3 grooves cut across the round section probably acted as a primitive pulley that could redirect the force on ropes used to move blocks. This simple but effective innovation multiplied human strength and allowed workers to move stones that would otherwise be impossible to handle. The extraordinary precision of pyramid construction required sophisticated measurement and alignment technologies. The ancient Egyptians developed measurement systems based on the royal cubit, which measured 52.5 centimeters and was represented by standardized rods. This created consistency across the entire construction project. The Great Pyramids are perfectly situated to have their sides line up to north, south, east, and west. This accuracy was likely achieved by accurately observing the North Star and using plumb lines. Egyptians developed levels using the force of gravity called plumb levels, which is still used today, just as in ancient Egypt. Alignment to cardinal directions was accomplished through astronomical observation. True north could have been established by dividing the angle of a rising and setting star by 2, or by using the sun and measuring shadow lengths at different times of day. These weren't primitive approximations, but sophisticated surveying techniques that achieved accuracy comparable to modern methods. Moving massive stones vertically required innovative ramp systems that pushed the boundaries of ancient engineering. The blocks were taken up pyramids using ramps made of mud brick and rubble. While ancient Egyptians used ropes and levers, there is no evidence of pulleys for the heaviest lifting operations. Different ramp configurations were used for different situations. Straight ramps, zigzag ramps, and spiral ramps have all been proposed based on archaeological evidence. The variety suggests that builders adapted their approach based on specific construction challenges and available materials. The recent discovery at Hatnub revealed a sophisticated ramp system that used a combination of slopes and mechanical advantage. This system dates back at least to Khufu's reign, meaning that during construction of the Great Pyramid, ancient Egyptians knew how to move huge blocks of stone using very steep slopes. Moving millions of tons of stone across desert terrain required ingenious transport solutions. Blocks were moved using sleds with water, or possibly oil, poured underneath to reduce friction. This simple but effective technique made it possible to move massive stones across sand with human power alone. The transport system extended far beyond local movement. Archaeological evidence reveals a sophisticated supply chain that used boats on the Nile to bring materials from across Egypt. Granite came from Aswan far to the south, limestone from Tura near Cairo, and copper tools from the Sinai Peninsula. Recent discoveries have revealed the extent of water transport in pyramid construction. In 2024, archaeologists identified segments of a major extinct Nile branch that they named the Aaronic branch, which played a crucial role in transporting materials directly to pyramid construction sites. Even the mortar used in pyramid construction was more sophisticated than it appears. Mortar made of gypsum, plaster, and sand was very soft like butter. The advantages of gypsum mortar is that it's low setting and can act as a sort of lubricant to lessen friction between large blocks while it sets. This wasn't just adhesive, but an engineered material designed for specific construction requirements. Gypsum mortar is still used for certain construction in dry environments in modern times, showing that ancient Egyptians had discovered optimal solutions that remain valid today. The choice of materials demonstrated sophisticated understanding of their properties. The Great Pyramid's core is made of yellowish limestone blocks, the outer casing of finer light-colored limestone, and the interior burial chamber of huge blocks of granite. Each material was selected for specific structural and aesthetic requirements. The scale of pyramid construction required massive tool maintenance operations. Copper tools needed constant sharpening, wooden implements required replacement, and rope systems had to be maintained and repaired. This created entire industries dedicated to supporting construction operations. Experimental recreations of ancient techniques have validated these support requirements. Modern attempts to use copper tools noted that they were adequate for the job, provided that additional manpower was available to constantly resharpen the tools. They estimated around 20 extra men would be needed for tool maintenance for every 12 quarrymen. The tools and technologies developed for pyramid construction had lasting impact far beyond the monuments themselves. The organizational systems, precision techniques, and mechanical innovations influenced Egyptian technology for centuries and provided foundations for later civilizations. What's most remarkable about ancient pyramid construction tools isn't their primitiveness, but their effectiveness. These early humans achieved extraordinary results, not because they had advanced technology, but because they understood how to optimize the tools available to them. The copper chisels, wooden levers, rope systems, and measurement tools used by pyramid builders represent human ingenuity at its finest. They show that technological advancement doesn't always require complex machinery. Sometimes it just requires understanding how to use simple tools with extraordinary skill and precision. Chapter 7. Logistics of Moving Mountains. The papyrus scroll crackles as Inspector Mirror unrolls it to record another day's work. His logbook entry for year 27 of Pharaoh Khufu. Esrain reads like a shipping manifest for an impossible project. Loaded boat with limestone from Torah quarry. Transport to Giza. Delivered to the noble Ankh-Haf. This 4,500-year-old document, the world's oldest papyrus, reveals the staggering logistics behind pyramid construction, a supply chain that spanned the entire Egyptian empire and moved millions of tons of material with breathtaking efficiency. Building the Great Pyramid wasn't just a construction project, it was the ancient world's equivalent of the Apollo moon program, requiring the coordination of resources across an entire civilization. The scale is almost incomprehensible. 2.3 million blocks averaging 2.5 tons each, with some granite blocks weighing up to 80 tons, all transported to a single location in the desert and assembled with millimeter precision. Archaeological sites across Egypt and records written on ancient papyri show that boatmen used the Nile River and a network of artificial waterways to bring materials to the Giza Plateau. This included granite from Aswan quarries 500 miles to the south, copper cutting tools from the Sinai Peninsula, timber from Lebanon, and limestone from Torah quarries across the Nile. The logistical challenges were staggering. Each material had to be quarried or manufactured, transported hundreds of miles, and delivered to construction sites in precise quantities at exactly the right time. Any disruption in this supply chain could halt progress on what was already a decades-long project. The key to pyramid logistics was the Nile River, which served as ancient Egypt's primary transportation network. Mirror's journal reveals how boats carried materials throughout the kingdom, with different types of vessels specialized for different cargoes. Large boats transported granite blocks from Aswan, while smaller vessels carried workers, tools, and supplies. The sophistication of this river transport system is revealed in recent archaeological discoveries. In 2024, archaeologists using radar satellite imagery identified segments of a major extinct Nile branch that they named the Aramat Branch. This waterway ran directly to the foothills of the western desert plateau where the pyramids are located. suggesting it played a crucial role in transporting materials directly to construction sites. The autobiography of Weenie, a text dating to Dynasty 6, described the hauling of large pieces of granite and alabaster by boat. Relief sculptures show boats carrying granite columns, demonstrating that water transport was the primary method for moving the heaviest materials across long distances. Supporting this massive river transport system required sophisticated harbor facilities. At Wadi el-Jarf on the Red Sea coast, archaeologists have discovered what may be the world's oldest artificial harbor, built specifically to support pyramid construction projects. The harbor featured a big jetty about 200 meters long from east to west and north to south, enclosing an area of around 6 to 7 hectares. 31 storage galleries were created at the site, far more than later harbors, indicating the massive scale of operations required for pyramid construction. This wasn't just a local port, but part of a sophisticated network. Including Wadi el-Jarf and Ain Sukna, archaeologists now know the location of 3 harbors on the Red Sea, with Wadi el-Jarf being the earliest. The harbor was created during the reign of Sneferu and was used to obtain copper needed for tools in pyramid construction. Meres Papyrus reveals a surprisingly modern approach to logistics management. His journal chronicles the last known year of Khufu's reign, providing a snapshot of workers putting finishing touches on the Great Pyramid. The entries show a just-in-time delivery system where materials arrived precisely when needed. Mira mentions reporting to the noble Ankaf, now definitively identified as overseeing construction of the Great Pyramid. This reveals a clear chain of command and accountability system that ensured materials were delivered to the right place at the right time. The precision required was extraordinary, since pharaohs used Tura limestone for the pyramid's outer casing, and Mira's journal chronicles delivery of this premium material. The logistics had to coordinate not just bulk materials, but specialized stones for specific construction phases. Moving materials was only part of the logistical challenge. The system also had to transport and house tens of thousands of workers. Evidence suggests that people rotated in and out of pyramid construction, creating a constant flow of workers between construction sites and their home communities throughout Egypt. The lost city of the pyramids near Giza housed thousands of workers in sophisticated barracks separated by wide paved streets. This wasn't just housing, but a complete urban environment with bakeries, breweries, workshops, and administrative buildings. The logistics of feeding, housing, and organizing this workforce rivaled the challenge of moving stones. Communities across Egypt contributed workers, as well as food and other essentials, for what became a national project to display the wealth and control of ancient pharaohs. This required coordination between distant regions and central planning that could balance local needs with pyramid construction requirements. Feeding the pyramid workforce required its own massive logistics operation. To sustain workers, suppliers delivered cattle from farms near the Nile Delta, fish from the Nile, and grain from agricultural regions throughout Egypt. Archaeological evidence shows workers consumed massive quantities of meat, bread, and beer. The scale of food consumption was enormous. Analysis of ancient garbage shows evidence of industrial-scale food preparation, with bakeries that could produce thousands of loaves daily and breweries that supplied the entire workforce. This required agricultural planning across the entire kingdom to ensure adequate supplies. The quality of the diet was exceptional for the era. Workers received prime cuts of beef, fresh bread, and abundant beer nutrition that would have been luxury for most people of the time. This premium provisioning demonstrates the value placed on the skilled workforce and the resources available to the pyramid projects. The logistics system included sophisticated quality control measures. Different materials required different handling and transport methods. Granite blocks from Aswan were selected for their specific properties and carefully transported to avoid damage. Limestone casing stones from Tura were chosen for their fine quality and uniform appearance. Archaeological evidence shows that materials were inspected and marked before transport. Quarry workers' marks found on stone blocks indicate quality control systems that track materials from extraction through installation. This prevented inferior materials from reaching construction sites and ensured consistent quality throughout the project. The precision of material selection extended to the smallest details. Fine limestone was used for outer casing, rougher limestone for internal structure, and granite for chambers requiring maximum durability. Each material was transported and stockpiled according to its intended use in construction. The massive scale of pyramid logistics drove technological innovation across multiple fields. The burst of maritime activity was made necessary by the gigantism of the royal building projects, leading to advances in shipbuilding, navigation, and harbor construction. This innovation extended beyond transportation to include advances in project management, inventory control, and workforce coordination. The organizational methods developed for pyramid construction influenced Egyptian administration for centuries and provided models for later large-scale projects. The pyramid logistics system created network effects that transformed Egyptian civilization. Farms and ranches sprouted in Middle Egypt and the Nile Delta to supply construction projects. Trade and supply routes brought materials from throughout the Mediterranean world, stimulating economic development across the region. All this required a massive infrastructure, which is how the pyramids actually helped to build Egypt in the ancient world. The infrastructure that went into supporting pyramid building became more important than the pyramids themselves, creating lasting economic and organizational benefits. The logistics systems developed for pyramid construction represent humanity's first experiment in large-scale project management. The coordination of materials, workers, and resources across vast distances and time periods required organizational innovations that influenced civilization for millennia. What happened is that all the infrastructure that went into supporting pyramid building became more important than building giant pyramids. The real advance was in organizing people and coordinating complex projects capabilities that enabled Egypt to maintain its civilization for thousands of years. The logistics of pyramid construction reveal early humans as sophisticated planners capable of coordinating resources on a scale that wouldn't be seen again until the modern era. Mere simple logbook entries represent not just transportation records, but evidence of humanity's growing ability to organize itself for monumental achievements. The success of pyramid logistics demonstrates that early humans possessed not just the technical skills to move mountains of stone, but the organizational capabilities to coordinate the efforts of entire civilizations toward common goals, an achievement that remains impressive even by today's standards. Chapter 8. Mathematics and Astronomy. The ancient surveyor peers through the darkness at the North Star, carefully aligning his plumb line as scribes record precise measurements on papyrus. This scene, repeated countless times during pyramid construction, reveals one of history's most sophisticated applications of mathematics and astronomy. The precision achieved by these early humans' accuracy within fractions of degrees across structures covering acres demonstrates mathematical and astronomical knowledge that rivals modern capabilities. The Great Pyramids are perfectly situated to have their sides line up to north, south, east, and west with an accuracy that is uncanny. For the time period, this precision wasn't accidental, but required sophisticated understanding of astronomy and careful observation of celestial movements. Alignment to the cardinal points of the compass was most likely accomplished by astronomical observation. True, north could have been established by dividing the angle of a rising and setting star by 2, or the sun could have been used through measuring the length of shadows at various times of the day. The precision achieved is staggering. The Great Pyramids, Sides are aligned to the cardinal directions within 3/60th of a degree, more accurate than many modern buildings. This level of precision required not just astronomical knowledge, but mathematical calculations to translate celestial observations into ground-level construction guidelines. Building a pyramid required extensive mathematical knowledge spanning geometry, trigonometry, and engineering calculations. The pyramid's base had to be a perfect square. Its sides had to rise at precisely calculated angles, and its apex had to align perfectly with the center of the base. The remarkable square shape of the ancient pyramids was achieved with the use of rods that measured royal cubits, which were 52.5 centimeters long. This standardized measurement system allowed workers to maintain precision across the entire construction project, but it also required sophisticated mathematical planning to ensure all elements worked together, creating a perfect square of the pyramid. Scale required understanding of the Pythagorean theorem centuries before Pythagoras was born. The diagonals of the square had to be precisely equal, and any error would be magnified dramatically across the pyramid's height. The Great Pyramid's sides rise at an angle of 5,152, a precise calculation that wasn't chosen arbitrarily. This angle optimizes the pyramid's structural stability, while creating the distinctive profile that has inspired architects for millennia. Different pyramids used different angles as builders experimented with optimal designs. The bent pyramid's angle change from over 51 degrees to about 43 degrees demonstrates real-time mathematical problem-solving as builders recognized structural issues and recalculated the optimal angle for stability. These angle calculations required understanding of trigonometric relationships and structural engineering principles. Builders had to calculate not just the visual appeal of different angles, but their structural implications for a monument intended to last eternally. Perhaps most remarkably, the entire 13.1-acre base of the Great Pyramid is leveled to within a fraction of an inch. This precision is comparable to what's possible with modern construction methods and laser leveling. Yet it was achieved with ancient surveying techniques. Egyptians developed levels using the force of gravity called plumb levels, which are applications of the plumb lines still used today. The precision required for pyramid construction pushed these basic tools to their absolute limits, requiring master surveyors who understood how to maintain accuracy across vast distances. The mathematical challenge of maintaining level surfaces across such large areas required understanding of cumulative error and methods for checking and correcting measurements. Any small error in the foundation would be magnified exponentially as the pyramid rose, potentially causing catastrophic structural failure. The internal design of pyramids required sophisticated geometric planning. The Grand Gallery in the Great Pyramid, with its corbelled ceiling rising at a precise angle, demonstrates advanced understanding of geometric relationships and structural engineering. The passages and chambers within pyramids weren't random tunnels, but carefully calculated spaces that had to align with external features while maintaining structural integrity. This required three-dimensional geometric calculations that pushed the limits of ancient mathematical knowledge. Some pyramids included complex internal structures with multiple chambers, passages that changed direction, and elaborate entrance systems. Each element required precise geometric planning to ensure proper alignment and structural stability. Beyond cardinal direction alignment, pyramids incorporated sophisticated astronomical features that demonstrate deep understanding of celestial mechanics. Certain passages align with significant stars, and the entire complex may have been designed to mirror celestial patterns. The pyramid's smooth, angled sides symbolized the rays of the sun and were designed to help the king's soul ascend to heaven and join the gods, particularly the sun god Ra. This religious symbolism required astronomical knowledge to align earthly architecture with celestial movements. Research suggests that pyramid alignment may have incorporated observations of specific stars or constellations. Significant to Egyptian religious beliefs. This would have required not just observational astronomy, but calculations to predict stellar positions over time. Constructing the Great Pyramid required calculating the volume and weight of materials with remarkable precision. The structure contains approximately 2.3 million blocks, averaging 2.5 tons each, representing careful mathematical planning to ensure adequate materials were available. These calculations had to account for different types of stone with varying densities, the space occupied by internal passages and chambers, and the precise amount of material needed for each construction phase. Any miscalculation could result in material shortages that would halt construction. The mathematical planning extended to understanding the center of gravity and structural loads. The massive weight of millions of stone blocks had to be distributed evenly to prevent foundation failure or structural collapse. The dimensions of pyramids weren't arbitrary but incorporated sophisticated, proportional relationships that may have had both practical and symbolic significance. The Great Pyramid's proportions incorporate mathematical relationships that continue to fascinate researchers. Some scholars suggest the pyramid's dimensions incorporate the mathematical constant pi, though whether this was intentional or coincidental remains debated. The precision of the proportions suggests careful mathematical planning rather than accidental relationships. These proportional relationships may have incorporated both practical engineering considerations and symbolic meanings related to Egyptian religious beliefs about geometry and cosmic order. Maintaining precision throughout decades of construction required mathematical quality control systems. Workers had to regularly check that construction remained within acceptable tolerances, requiring measurement systems and error correction protocols. The precision achieved across the entire structure suggests systematic approaches to identifying and correcting deviations from plan specifications. This would have required mathematical understanding of cumulative error and methods for maintaining accuracy over time. The mathematical challenges of pyramid construction drove innovation in multiple areas. The scale and precision requirements forced ancient mathematicians to develop new techniques for measurement, calculation, and quality control. These innovations influenced Egyptian mathematics for centuries and provided foundations for later civilizations. The mathematical knowledge developed for pyramid construction found applications in other areas of Egyptian technology and administration. The mathematical and astronomical achievements demonstrated in pyramid construction reveal early humans as sophisticated scientists and engineers. Their understanding of geometry, astronomy, and mathematical relationships enabled them to create monuments that remain marvels of precision. The techniques developed for pyramid construction influenced architecture and engineering for millennia. The mathematical principles and astronomical knowledge applied to these ancient monuments provided foundations for scientific development that continue to influence us today. Modern analysis of pyramid construction has confirmed the sophistication of ancient mathematical and astronomical knowledge. Laser measurements validate the precision achieved by ancient builders, while computer analysis reveals the complexity of the geometric relationships incorporated into pyramid design. The mathematical and astronomical achievements of pyramid builders represent humanity's early mastery of scientific principles. These weren't primitive people stumbling toward accuracy, but sophisticated scientists whose understanding of mathematics and astronomy enabled them to create monuments that continue to inspire wonder. 4,500 years later, their legacy reminds us that human intelligence and scientific curiosity have driven remarkable achievements throughout history. With pyramid construction, representing one of humanity's earliest and most impressive applications of mathematical and astronomical knowledge, to monumental architecture. Chapter 9. The Global Pyramid Phenomenon across the Pacific Ocean from the Pyramids of Egypt. In the ancient valleys of Peru, another civilization was independently reaching toward the sky. The pyramid city of Cairo, built around 2627 BCE, demonstrates that the human impulse to build monumental step structures wasn't unique to Egypt but emerged simultaneously across different continents. This remarkable parallel development raises profound questions about human innovation and the universal drive to create lasting monuments that transcend cultural and geographical boundaries. The North Chico civilization that built Cairo represents the first known civilization in the Americas, and their pyramids were contemporary with Egypt's first pyramid constructions. Cairo was a metropolis with complex agricultural practices, temples, an amphitheater, sunken circular plazas, residential areas, and 6 large pyramidal structures, a complete urban environment that developed entirely independently of Egyptian influence. These American pyramids weren't crude imitations of Egyptian designs, but sophisticated structures that reflected their builders' unique cultural and environmental needs. The pyramids at Cairo were integrated into a complex urban plan that included administrative buildings, residential areas, and ceremonial spaces, demonstrating sophisticated city planning capabilities that rival modern urban development principles. The timing is remarkable. While Djoser's Step Pyramid was rising in Egypt around 2630 BCE, similar monuments were being constructed on the opposite side of the world. This simultaneous development suggests that pyramid construction represents a fundamental human response to certain social and spiritual needs, rather than a unique cultural innovation limited to specific regions. Archaeological evidence from Cairo reveals sophisticated understanding of acoustics, astronomy, and hydraulic engineering. The amphitheater's design amplifies sound naturally, while the pyramid orientations align with astronomical phenomena. Water management systems demonstrate advanced engineering that supported urban populations in challenging desert environments. The ancient city of Teotihuacan in Mexico represents one of the most impressive pyramid complexes in the Americas, with the Pyramid of the Sun covering more than 7 square miles and rising over 200 feet high. Built between the 1st and 7th century CE, this massive structure demonstrates engineering precision that rivals contemporary construction projects. The Pyramid of the Sun was completed by 100 CE as part of a carefully planned urban complex that housed over 100,000 inhabitants. Evidence of a king or other authoritarian ruler is strikingly absent in Teotihuacan, suggesting that these massive construction projects were achieved through collective organization rather than centralized authority. The Teotihuacan complex demonstrates sophisticated understanding of urban planning, with pyramids positioned along the Avenue of the Dead, according to astronomical alignments. The city's layout incorporates geometric and symbolic principles that create harmony between built structures and natural landscapes. This integration of architecture, astronomy, and urban planning reveals advanced knowledge that parallels developments in other pyramid-building civilizations. Even before Egyptian pyramids, the Mesopotamians built the earliest pyramidal structures called ziggurats. These step temple towers served different purposes than Egyptian pyramids, but shared the distinctive pyramidal form that would appear in cultures worldwide. The ziggurat tradition established fundamental concepts that influenced subsequent pyramid construction across multiple civilizations. Ziggurats functioned as religious centers and administrative complexes, with temples at their summits where priests conducted rituals connecting earth and heaven. While their construction techniques differed from later Egyptian methods, They established the basic concept of monumental stepped architecture reaching toward the sky. The organizational requirements for ziggurat construction were similar to those later seen in Egypt: coordinated labor forces, sophisticated planning, and the political authority to command vast resources for monumental construction. These early experiments in large-scale architecture provided templates that influenced subsequent civilizations. The concept of building upward to connect with divine realms became a recurring theme in human architecture, appearing independently in cultures across the globe. Mesopotamian innovations in brickmaking, architectural planning, and construction management established precedents that were later refined by pyramid builders worldwide. Recent archaeological discoveries in the Sahara Desert reveal even earlier pyramid-like structures that may have influenced Egyptian development. Preceded by assumed earlier sites in the Eastern Sahara, tumuli with megalithic monuments developed as early as 4700 BCE in the Saharan region of Niger. These discoveries suggest that pyramid-like construction traditions may be far older and more widespread than previously understood. Fakhri Hassan suggests that these megalithic monuments in the Saharan region may have served as antecedents for the mastabas and pyramids of ancient Egypt. This raises intriguing questions about cultural transmission across prehistoric Africa and the possible diffusion of architectural ideas through ancient trade networks and population movements. The Saharan discoveries suggest that pyramid-like construction may have been developing across North Africa for millennia before the famous Egyptian monuments. Climate change and desertification may have obscured evidence of earlier civilizations that experimented with monumental architecture. As archaeological techniques improve and new sites are discovered, the African pyramid tradition may prove to be far more extensive than currently recognized. Recent discoveries at the Egyptian colony of Tombos in Nubia, present-day Sudan, have revealed pyramids dating to between 1400 and 650 BCE, demonstrating the continued spread and evolution of pyramid construction techniques across Africa long after the Egyptian Old Kingdom period. Across Asia, different civilizations developed their own pyramid-like structures, each adapted to local materials, beliefs, and environmental conditions. The ancient Khmer Empire built temple pyramids as part of their religious architecture, with Angkor Wat in Cambodia representing the most famous example, a colossal temple complex built in the 12th century that served as temples dedicated to Hindu gods and later became Buddhist religious sites. The Angkor pyramid tradition includes significant royal state temples such as Bakong, Bakang, Prerup, Takeo, Bafuan, Angkor Wat, and Bayan, each representing the culmination of Khmer architectural achievement and demonstrating sophisticated understanding of hydraulic engineering, astronomy, and religious symbolism. These Asian examples demonstrate how the basic pyramid concept could be adapted to different cultural needs and construction materials. Some serve as temples, others as tombs, and still others as administrative centers, showing the versatility of the pyramidal form. The Khmer temple pyramids incorporated sophisticated water management systems that controlled monsoon flooding while maintaining year-round water supplies for urban populations. The diversity of Asian pyramid construction techniques reveals different solutions to similar engineering challenges. While the basic pyramid shape remained consistent, local innovations in materials, construction methods, and internal organization created unique regional variations. Chinese burial mounds, Cambodian temple pyramids, and Japanese burial coffin all represent regional adaptations of the basic pyramid concept. Modern analysis has revealed geometric and arithmetic correlations between Angkor in Cambodia and the pyramids of Giza in Egypt, suggesting possible ancient connections or shared mathematical principles that transcend cultural boundaries. The controversial claims about Gunung Padang in Indonesia continue to generate scholarly debate, with some researchers claiming it represents a 27,000-year-old pyramid structure. While disputed by mainstream archaeology, the site highlights important questions about the antiquity and global distribution of pyramid-like construction. Ground-penetrating technologies have revealed complex subsurface structures at Gunung Padang that appear to be artificially constructed, though the interpretation of these findings remains controversial within the archaeological community. Whether the Indonesian site represents a 27,000-year-old pyramid or a much later construction, it demonstrates that pyramid building appeared in Southeast Asia as well as the Americas, Africa, and Europe. The global distribution of pyramid-like structures suggests that this architectural form addresses fundamental human needs that transcend specific cultures or time periods. Peer review, further excavation, and more data will be needed before Gunung Padang is officially accepted as the world's oldest pyramid. However, this discovery opens the door to new questions about long-held assumptions in archaeology and invites consideration of earlier human capabilities than previously recognized. Contemporary archaeological research continues to reveal new pyramid-related discoveries worldwide. Recent studies by Japanese and Egyptian researchers have discovered L-shaped structures and anomalies near the Great Pyramids of Giza, while ground-penetrating radar has revealed enormous chambers and shafts, forming complex underground networks beneath these ancient monuments. Researchers using synthetic aperture radar have claimed discovery of vast underground city structures beneath the pyramids, including 8 vertical cylinder-shaped structures extending approximately 2,100 feet deep, suggesting that pyramid complexes were far more extensive than visible surface structures indicate. These recent discoveries demonstrate that pyramid sites worldwide may contain far more complex architecture than previously understood. Advanced remote sensing technologies are revealing subsurface structures that suggest pyramid complexes functioned as integrated systems, combining surface monuments with extensive underground facilities. Even in Europe, Neolithic cultures built pyramid-like structures and complex megalithic monuments that share characteristics with pyramid construction elsewhere. While European megaliths typically used different construction techniques, they required similar levels of social organization and technical skill that parallel developments in pyramid-building civilizations. Sites like Newgrange in Ireland and the megalithic temples of Malta demonstrate that European cultures were capable of monumental construction projects that paralleled developments elsewhere. These structures required coordinated labor, sophisticated planning, and advanced engineering knowledge. The precision of astronomical alignments at European megalithic sites matches that found in pyramid complexes worldwide. European megalithic construction demonstrates similar organizational principles to pyramid building: the ability to quarry, transport, and precisely position massive stone blocks requiring coordinated teams of skilled workers. While the architectural forms differ, the underlying technical and social capabilities represent parallel human achievements in monumental construction. Despite developing independently, pyramid structures worldwide share remarkable functional similarities. Most served religious or ceremonial purposes, many were associated with burial practices, and virtually all required unprecedented levels of social organization for their construction. These shared functions suggest that pyramid building represents a natural stage in human cultural development when certain conditions are met. The pyramid form appears to address universal human needs: the desire to create permanent monuments, the impulse to reach toward the heavens, and the drive to demonstrate social cohesion through collective achievement. These shared functions suggest that pyramid building represents a predictable response to certain stages of social complexity and resource Availability. Religious and symbolic consistencies across pyramid building cultures show striking similarities. The pyramid form is often associated with mountains, the axis connecting earth and heaven, and the soul's journey to the afterlife. These symbolic meanings appear in cultures that had no contact with each other, suggesting fundamental psychological and spiritual universals. Remarkably, similar construction challenges led to similar solutions across different civilizations. The need to move heavy stones led to the development of ramps, ladders, and coordinated labor systems in multiple locations. The requirement for precision led to sophisticated measurement and surveying techniques that appear independently in various cultures. These parallel innovations demonstrate that human problem-solving follows similar patterns regardless of cultural context. When faced with the challenge of building large stone structures, different civilizations independently developed remarkably similar technical solutions. This consistency suggests fundamental patterns in human engineering capabilities. The emergence of similar construction techniques across isolated civilizations provides evidence for the universality of human technological development. Given similar challenges in materials, human societies consistently develop comparable solutions, suggesting that technological innovation follows predictable patterns, driven by practical necessity and shared cognitive capabilities. The emergence of pyramid building in different locations often correlates with similar environmental and social conditions. Agricultural surplus that could support specialized labor, access to suitable stone or other building materials, and political systems capable of organizing large-scale projects. These common prerequisites suggest that pyramid building represents a predictable stage in human social development. Environmental factors that enable pyramid construction include reliable water sources for transportation and construction, accessible quarries providing suitable building materials, and agricultural systems capable of supporting large non-productive populations. These conditions appeared independently in various locations worldwide, enabling the parallel development of pyramid construction. The correlation between environmental conditions and pyramid construction suggests that monumental architecture emerges when societies achieve sufficient resource control and social organization. This pattern appears consistently across different civilizations, indicating fundamental relationships between environmental capability and architectural achievement. The global pyramid phenomenon reveals early humans as innovative architects and engineers whose capabilities transcended individual cultures. The parallel development of similar solutions to architectural challenges demonstrates the universality of human problem-solving abilities and challenges assumptions about the limitations of ancient civilizations. This worldwide pattern of pyramid construction suggests that human creativity and organizational ability were far more advanced in ancient times than often assumed. Early civilizations possessed the intelligence, technical skill, and social coordination necessary for monumental achievements that continue to inspire contemporary architecture and engineering. While there is no concrete archaeological or historical evidence to support the existence of a single global antediluvian civilization that influenced pyramid construction worldwide, the remarkable similarities suggest either common human psychological patterns or previously unrecognized ancient connections between distant civilizations. The global pyramid phenomenon represents one of humanity's most remarkable examples of parallel innovation. Without communication between continents, early humans independently developed similar architectural solutions, construction techniques, and symbolic meanings. This parallel development demonstrates that human innovation follows universal patterns driven by shared needs, capabilities, and aspirations. The worldwide emergence of pyramid construction reveals early humans as sophisticated builders whose Achievements transcended cultural boundaries and continue to unite human imagination across time and space. These monuments represent humanity's common heritage of technical innovation and spiritual aspiration. The global pyramid phenomenon reminds us that human creativity and engineering capability have always been universal traits, with early civilizations worldwide demonstrating the intelligence and organizational skills necessary to create monuments that continue to inspire wonder and respect millennia after their construction. This legacy challenges us to recognize the sophisticated capabilities of our ancient ancestors and the fundamental unity underlying human achievement across cultures and continents. Chapter 10. Modern Discoveries. The cosmic ray detector hums quietly in the darkness inside the Great Pyramid as Dr. Mehdi Tayyubi analyzes data that's revealing secrets hidden for 4,500 years. In 2017, his team announced the discovery of a massive void within the Great Pyramid, a chamber as large as the Grand Gallery that had remained hidden since construction. This discovery represents just the latest breakthrough in our understanding of pyramid construction, as modern technology continues to unveil the remarkable achievements of early human builders. The evidence mounting from recent archaeological discoveries provides an increasingly definitive answer to one of history's most enduring questions. Did early humans really build the first pyramids? The overwhelming scientific consensus, supported by cutting-edge research and technological advances, confirms that ancient Egyptians possessed extraordinary capabilities that enabled them to create these architectural marvels through human ingenuity, sophisticated organization, and advanced engineering techniques. Advances in high-energy particle physics have revolutionized pyramid research, allowing scientists to use cosmic rays to uncover various empty spaces that have been hidden for millennia. The technique, called quantumography, works like a giant X-ray machine, detecting particles that rain down from space and pass through solid matter at different rates. This non-invasive approach has opened new frontiers in archaeological investigation without damaging these ancient monuments. The muon detection system represents a triumph of modern physics applied to archaeological investigation. Cosmic rays constantly bombard Earth from space, creating muon subatomic particles that can penetrate solid matter. Different materials absorb muons at varying rates, creating density maps that reveal internal structures. When applied to pyramid research, this technology can detect hidden chambers, passages, and construction features that have remained invisible for thousands of years. The discoveries have been remarkable. Scientists have identified one void that rivals the size of the pyramid's Grand Gallery and another passage, dubbed the North Face Corridor, within the Pyramid of Khufu. These hidden spaces demonstrate that pyramid construction was even more complex than previously understood, featuring sophisticated internal architecture designed for purposes that continue to intrigue researchers. Dr. Tayyubi's Scan Pyramids project has employed multiple detection methods simultaneously, creating detailed three-dimensional maps of pyramid interiors. The project combines muon tomography with thermal imaging and 3D reconstruction to create comprehensive models of pyramid structure. This multifaceted approach ensures accuracy and provides redundant verification of discoveries. While it's unclear if anything is inside these spaces, most experts believe they have no ritual significance. Instead, they were likely used during pyramid construction, a carefully engineered system to distribute weight and stress that enabled the pyramids of Giza to stand the test of time. The voids may have served as construction galleries, allowing workers to access different sections during building, or as architectural features designed to relieve pressure on lower chambers. In 2013, one of archaeology's most significant discoveries emerged from caves at the ancient Red Sea port of Wadi El Jarf. hundreds of inscribed papyrus fragments representing the oldest papyri ever found in Egypt. Among these ancient documents was a logbook from the 27th year of Pharaoh Khufu's reign that described construction of the Great Pyramid, providing the first contemporary written account of these massive projects. The hieroglyphic letters were written more than 4,500 years ago by Inspector Mirror, who detailed construction operations for the Great Pyramid over several months. His journal provides unprecedented insights into the logistics and organization of these massive projects, describing transportation of limestone blocks from Tura quarries via the Nile River system. Mirror's papyrus reveals details about the supply chain, workforce organization, and construction timeline that have revolutionized our understanding of pyramid building. The papyrus documents describe a sophisticated logistical operation involving multiple teams working in coordination. Mirror mentions crews of 200 men working in groups called files, each with specific responsibilities for quarrying, transportation, and construction. The documents reveal a complex bureaucratic system with detailed record-keeping, work schedules, and resource allocation protocols that rival modern project management techniques. His mention of reporting to the noble Ankh-Huf, now definitively identified as Khufu's half-brother overseeing construction, provides direct evidence of the administrative structure behind pyramid construction. The papyrus confirms that pyramid projects involved the highest levels of Egyptian government, with royal family members serving as construction supervisors and administrators coordinating vast resources across the kingdom. The Wadi El Jarf discovery also included harbor facilities, storage magazines, and administrative buildings that demonstrate the scale of pyramid construction logistics. The port served as a major staging area for transporting building materials and coordinating supply chains that extended across Egypt and into neighboring regions. Archaeological evidence shows systematic organization of resources on a scale that required advanced planning and administrative capabilities. In 2024, archaeologists using radar satellite imagery made another groundbreaking discovery: segments of a major extinct Nile branch running to the foothills of the Western Desert Plateau, where the majority of pyramids are located. Using remote sensing technologies, researchers have discovered two connected structures in a previously unexplored area alongside this ancient waterway they named the Aramat Branch. This discovery suggests that water transport played an even larger role in pyramid construction than previously thought. The branch likely facilitated transportation of workmen and building materials directly to pyramid sites, solving long-standing questions about how massive stones were moved across the desert. The waterway would have connected pyramid construction sites directly to Nile River transportation networks, enabling efficient movement of the millions of tons of stone required for pyramid construction. The discovery demonstrates how modern technology continues to reveal ancient infrastructure that has been hidden for millennia. Satellite imagery and ground-penetrating radar are allowing archaeologists to reconstruct the ancient landscape and understand how early humans modified their environment for massive construction projects. The Aramat Branch discovery fundamentally changes understanding of pyramid site selection and construction logistics. Analysis of sediment cores and geological evidence confirms that the Aramat Branch carried substantial water flow during pyramid construction periods. The waterway system included harbors, loading facilities, and canal networks that connected individual pyramid sites to the main transportation network. This infrastructure represents sophisticated hydraulic engineering that enabled pyramid construction on unprecedented scales. Environmental archaeology reveals how pyramid builders managed water resources across the region. Ancient Egyptians constructed dams, locks, and canal systems that controlled water flow and enabled year-round transportation operations. These hydraulic engineering achievements demonstrate advanced understanding of water management and large-scale infrastructure development. Recent excavations at Hatnob have revealed a sophisticated ramp system that predates similar Greek technology by 2,000 years. This system is composed of a central ramp flanked by two staircases with numerous post holes. Using a sled which carried a stone block and was attached with ropes to wooden posts to pull massive blocks up very steep slopes. This discovery has revolutionized understanding of ancient lifting techniques. The ramp system allowed ancient Egyptians to move huge blocks of stone using slopes of 20% or more, demonstrating mechanical knowledge far more advanced than previously assumed. The system employed principles of mechanical advantage that weren't formally documented until centuries later, showing that pyramid builders possessed sophisticated understanding of physics and engineering. The Hatnob ramp system includes features that optimize force application and load distribution. Post holes arranged in specific patterns allowed for complex pulley systems using ropes and wooden posts. The arrangement demonstrates understanding of leverage, friction reduction, and coordinated team lifting that maximized efficiency while minimizing worker fatigue and injury risk. The find suggests that pyramid builders possessed sophisticated understanding of mechanical advantage and force multiplication centuries before these principles were formally documented by later civilizations. Experimental reconstruction of the Hatnob ramp system has confirmed its effectiveness, with modern teams successfully moving multi-ton blocks using replicated ancient techniques. Analysis of wear patterns and tool marks at Hatnob provides insights into construction techniques and workforce organization. Evidence shows that crews worked in coordinated teams with specialized roles for different aspects of stone movement. The precision of post-hole placement and ramp construction demonstrates advanced surveying capabilities and construction planning. Researchers found evidence that hydraulic systems might have been used to build Egypt's step pyramid of Giza 4,500 years ago, revealing advanced technology. A recent study suggests that ancient Egyptians may have used a hydraulic lift system to raise the massive stone blocks using sophisticated water-powered mechanisms. This revolutionary discovery challenges traditional assumptions about pyramid construction methods. Evidence from the step pyramid suggests that ancient builders employed water-powered lifting systems that could raise multi-ton stone blocks to significant heights. The hydraulic system would have used carefully engineered water flow and pressure to operate lifting mechanisms, representing technology far more advanced than previously recognized. Geological analysis around the step pyramid reveals evidence of sophisticated water management infrastructure. Ancient builders constructed channels, reservoirs, and control systems that could direct water flow for construction purposes. The hydraulic system demonstrates understanding of fluid dynamics and pressure, mechanics that wasn't documented in other civilizations for centuries. The hydraulic lift discovery provides new insights into how pyramid builders achieved such precise stone placement and efficient construction timelines. Water-powered systems could lift stones continuously without the labor limitations of human-powered ramps, enabling faster construction with greater precision. This technology could explain how ancient builders achieved construction rates that seemed impossible using traditional methods. Archaeological evidence suggests that hydraulic construction techniques spread from the step pyramid to later pyramid projects. Water management systems found at pyramid sites across Egypt show similar engineering principles and construction methods, indicating that hydraulic technology became standard in pyramid construction. Modern laser measurement and 3D scanning technology has validated the extraordinary precision achieved by ancient builders. The Great Pyramid's base is leveled to within just 2.1 centimeters, 1 inch, across its entire 13.1-acre Area accuracy comparable to modern construction methods. This level of precision required not just advanced surveying techniques, but sophisticated understanding of mathematics and astronomy. The precision extends far beyond just leveling. The pyramid sides are aligned to cardinal directions within 3/60th of a degree, more accurate than many modern buildings. Digital analysis has revealed construction techniques that weren't visible to earlier researchers, showing how internal passages were precisely aligned with external features and how weight distribution systems prevented structural failure over millennia. 3D modeling technology has revealed construction sequences and techniques that demonstrate remarkable planning and execution. Laser scanning shows that pyramid builders maintained consistent angles and measurements throughout construction, despite the massive scale and complex geometry involved. The consistency of construction across thousands of stone blocks indicates sophisticated quality control and measurement systems. Modern analysis has revealed that pyramid construction involved precise calculation of load distribution, structural stability, and geometric relationships. The buildings demonstrate understanding of mathematical principles, including the golden ratio, precise angular relationships, and complex geometric calculations that required advanced mathematical knowledge. Digital reconstruction of construction sequences shows how pyramid builders coordinated multiple work teams while maintaining precise geometric requirements. The construction process required simultaneous work on multiple pyramid faces while ensuring perfect alignment and consistent angles, demonstrating sophisticated project management and communication systems. Excavations of the workers' settlement near Giza have revealed remarkable details about the people who built the pyramids. The lost city of the pyramids included sophisticated barracks, industrial-scale bakeries, breweries, and medical facilities that demonstrate the advanced organization of pyramid construction. The settlement housed thousands of workers and included infrastructure that rivals modern construction camps. Analysis of skeletal remains from worker cemeteries shows these weren't slaves but well-fed, healthy individuals who received medical care for work-related injuries. The evidence completely contradicts earlier assumptions about pyramid construction labor, revealing instead a well-organized workforce of skilled craftsmen and laborers who were valued and cared for by their employers. The workers' diet was exceptional for the era, including prime cuts of beef, fresh bread, and abundant beer. This premium nutrition demonstrates the value placed on skilled workers and the resources available for pyramid construction. Dietary analysis shows that pyramid workers consume more meat protein than most ancient populations, indicating their important status in Egyptian society. Medical evidence from worker remains shows sophisticated understanding of trauma treatment and occupational health. Workers who suffered construction injuries received medical care that enabled continued work and long-term survival. The medical facilities included surgical instruments and treatment areas that demonstrate advanced healthcare provision for construction workers. Archaeological evidence reveals complex social organization within worker communities. The settlements included residential areas organized by skill level and specialization, recreational facilities, religious areas, and administrative centers that coordinated work assignments and resource distribution. This social organization demonstrates sophisticated management of large workforces. Zahi Hawass, renowned Egyptian archaeologist, a scientific mission, is currently investigating the pyramid and significant archaeological findings may be revealed in 2025, indicating that breakthrough discoveries continue to emerge from ongoing pyramid research. Recent technological advances have revealed additional mysteries and discoveries that continue to reshape understanding of pyramid construction. A study from Japanese and Egyptian researchers reveals the discovery of an L-shaped structure along with an accompanying anomaly right next to the Great Pyramids of Giza. suggesting that pyramid sites contain additional unknown structures and features. Ground-penetrating radar surveys have revealed extensive underground networks around pyramid sites that may have served construction, religious, or administrative purposes. These subsurface features demonstrate that pyramid complexes were far more extensive than visible surface structures, including underground passages, chambers, and possibly water management systems that supported construction operations. Advanced imaging techniques continue mapping internal structures that were previously inaccessible, showing that pyramid design was even more sophisticated than previously understood. Multispectral imaging, thermal analysis, and electromagnetic surveys are revealing construction details without damaging these ancient monuments, allowing researchers to study building techniques while preserving the pyramids for future generations. Emerging technologies promise even greater insights into pyramid construction. Advanced dating methods are providing more precise timelines for construction phases, while sophisticated computer modeling is testing theories about construction techniques and structural engineering. Virtual reality and 3D reconstruction are allowing researchers to experience pyramid construction sites as they existed 4,500 years ago. Modern attempts to recreate ancient construction techniques have largely validated methods described in historical sources and archaeological evidence. Experimental projects have successfully built small pyramids using copper tools, wooden levers, and ramp systems similar to those used by ancient builders. These experiments have confirmed that ancient techniques were entirely capable of achieving the results seen in actual pyramids. Experimental archaeology has demonstrated that 12 quarrymen could produce 8.5 stones in a day using replica ancient tools, demonstrating the efficiency of methods developed 4,500 years ago. The experimental work has also revealed the incredible skill required for pyramid construction, emphasizing that these weren't crude techniques, but sophisticated methods requiring master craftsmen with years of experience. Modern reconstruction projects have tested various theories about pyramid construction methods, including ramp systems, lever techniques, and stone-moving mechanisms. These experiments have validated many proposed construction methods while revealing the complexity and skill required for pyramid building. Experimental work has shown that ancient construction techniques were highly efficient and effective when properly executed. Construction experiments have revealed the importance of team coordination and specialized skills in pyramid building. Ancient construction required specialists in stone cutting, surveying, logistics, and construction management working in coordinated teams. The experiments demonstrate that pyramid construction was a sophisticated industrial operation, requiring advanced organizational capabilities. Modern climate research is providing new insights into the environmental conditions that made pyramid construction possible. Analysis of ancient climate data reveals that the Nile carried more water during pyramid construction, facilitating the massive transport operations documented in ancient papyri. The enhanced water flow enabled efficient transportation of building materials and supported larger populations involved in construction projects. Environmental archaeology is also revealing how pyramid construction affected the ancient landscape. The projects required massive resource extraction that influenced ecosystems across Egypt and created environmental impacts that lasted for centuries. Quarrying operations, deforestation for construction materials, and large workforce settlements created significant environmental changes that are detectable in the archaeological record. Paleoclimatic analysis shows that pyramid construction periods coincided with favorable environmental conditions, including stable Nile flood patterns, moderate temperatures, and adequate rainfall that supported agricultural production necessary to feed construction workforces. These environmental factors were crucial for sustaining the long-term Efforts required for pyramid construction. Environmental evidence reveals sophisticated resource management that sustained pyramid construction while maintaining agricultural productivity. Ancient Egyptians developed systems for balancing construction demands with agricultural needs, ensuring food security, while supporting massive construction projects that lasted for decades. Modern dating techniques have refined understanding of pyramid construction timelines and building sequences. Radiocarbon dating, astronomical alignment analysis, and stratigraphic studies have confirmed that pyramid construction spanned several centuries during the Old Kingdom period. These refined chronologies demonstrate the continuity of construction techniques and organizational systems across multiple generations. Chronological analysis reveals that pyramid construction represented continuous technological development rather than sudden achievement. Each pyramid incorporated lessons learned from previous construction, showing progressive refinement of techniques, materials, and organizational methods. The developmental progression demonstrates sustained cultural commitment to pyramid construction. Over centuries, dating evidence confirms that pyramid construction required long-term planning and resource allocation that spanned multiple pharaonic reigns. The projects required sustained political stability, economic prosperity, and social organization that enabled multi-generational construction efforts. This evidence demonstrates the sophisticated governmental and administrative systems necessary for pyramid construction. Each new discovery reveals pyramids as technological time capsules that preserve evidence of ancient human capabilities. The structures contain embedded information about mathematics, engineering, astronomy, and organizational methods that continues to yield insights as analytical techniques improve. Modern technology is allowing researchers to extract information from pyramids that their builders never intended to preserve. Tool marks, construction sequences, and material properties are providing detailed insights into ancient construction methods. Analysis of stone surfaces reveals cutting techniques, transportation methods, and assembly procedures that demonstrate sophisticated technical knowledge. These microscopic details preserve evidence of ancient craftsmanship and technical capabilities. Material analysis reveals the complex supply chains and resource management systems required for pyramid construction. Stone sourcing studies show that pyramid builders accessed materials from across Egypt and neighboring regions, requiring sophisticated transportation and logistics networks. The materials themselves preserve evidence of ancient trade relationships and resource management. While scientific evidence overwhelmingly supports human construction of pyramids, some controversial claims continue to emerge. A new study on the Egyptian pyramids has caused a stir worldwide, after researchers from Italy and Scotland claimed that there is a huge underground city extending over 6,500 feet beneath Giza pyramids, though such claims require careful verification. Through established archaeological methods, the scientific community maintains rigorous standards for evaluating new discoveries and claims about pyramid construction. Peer review processes, replication of results, and verification through multiple analytical methods ensure that new discoveries are properly validated before acceptance. This scientific approach has consistently confirmed human construction while revealing the sophisticated capabilities of ancient builders. Ongoing research continues to refine understanding of pyramid construction while addressing remaining questions about specific techniques and organizational methods. Each new discovery adds to the evidence base supporting human construction, while revealing new aspects of ancient capabilities and achievements. Future research directions include expanded application of non-invasive analytical techniques, improved dating methods, and advanced computer modeling of construction processes. Emerging technologies such as artificial intelligence analysis of archaeological data Improved remote sensing capabilities and advanced materials analysis promise new insights into pyramid construction. International collaborative research projects are expanding investigation of pyramid sites across Egypt and neighboring regions. These collaborations combine expertise from multiple disciplines and institutions to address complex questions about pyramid construction and ancient Egyptian capabilities. The collaborative approach ensures comprehensive investigation and validation of discoveries. Research priorities include continued investigation of construction techniques, workforce organization, resource management, and technological capabilities that enable pyramid construction. These investigations will further document the remarkable achievements of ancient Egyptian builders and their contributions to human technological development. Modern discoveries continue to validate the remarkable achievements of early human builders while revealing new complexities in pyramid construction. Each breakthrough demonstrates that ancient capabilities were even more sophisticated than previously understood, confirming that early humans possessed intelligence, creativity, and organizational capabilities that enabled them to create monuments that continue to challenge our understanding of ancient human potential. The ongoing research shows that pyramids aren't just ancient monuments, but continuing sources of knowledge about human innovation and achievement. They preserve evidence of early human capabilities that continues to inspire and educate us about the potential for human achievement when knowledge, organization, and determination combine to tackle seemingly impossible challenges. The evidence overwhelmingly demonstrates that early humans did indeed build the first pyramids, and their achievements were even more remarkable than we ever imagined. These early humans possessed sophisticated understanding of mathematics, engineering, astronomy, and organizational management that enabled them to create architectural masterpieces that have survived for over 4 millennia. The pyramid builders represent one of humanity's greatest achievements, demonstrating that human ingenuity, cooperation, and determination can accomplish seemingly impossible tasks. Their legacy continues to inspire modern engineering and construction while providing evidence of the remarkable capabilities that humans have possessed throughout history. Modern technology continues to reveal new aspects of pyramid construction, while confirming the fundamental conclusion. These magnificent structures represent extraordinary human achievement that demonstrates the remarkable capabilities of our ancient ancestors. The question of whether early humans really built the first pyramids has been definitively answered yes, and their accomplishment was even more remarkable than we previously imagined. As we stand once again in the shadow of the Great Pyramid, the question that began our journey has been definitively answered. Yes, early humans really did build the first pyramids, and their achievements were far more remarkable than we ever dared imagine. The evidence is overwhelming and irrefutable. From Inspector Mira's 4,500-year-old logbook, documenting stone deliveries, to the sophisticated worker settlements that house skilled craftsmen, from the ingenious ramp systems that predate Greek technology by 2,000 years to the mathematical precision that rivals modern construction. Every discovery confirms that ancient humans possessed extraordinary capabilities. These weren't primitive people stumbling toward greatness, but sophisticated engineers, mathematicians, astronomers, and project managers whose innovations influenced civilization for millennia. They developed copper tools enhanced with quartz slurries, created organizational systems that coordinated 20,000 workers, and achieved precision that modern builders struggle to match. The Great Pyramid's base is leveled to within just 2.1 centimeters, across 13.1 acres, accuracy comparable to what's possible with laser leveling today. The global nature of pyramid construction makes the story even more remarkable. From the contemporary pyramids of Peru's Norte Chico civilization to the megalithic monuments of the Sahara dating to 4700 BCE, Early humans worldwide independently developed similar solutions to the challenge of monumental architecture. This parallel innovation demonstrates universal human capabilities that transcended individual cultures and geographical boundaries. Perhaps most importantly, we've learned that these achievements resulted not from oppression, but from human ingenuity and cooperation. The workers who built the pyramids were skilled craftsmen who received excellent food, medical care, and respect for their contributions. They participated willingly in projects that demonstrated their civilization's capabilities to the world. Archaeological evidence shows these workers enjoyed prime cuts of beef, fresh bread, abundant beer, and sophisticated medical treatment, nutrition and care that exceeded what most people of their era could expect. The organizational innovations were as impressive as the technical achievements. Coordinating 20,000 workers across multiple sites required unprecedented management systems, supply chains that spanned continents, and logistics operations that moved millions of tons of material with breathtaking efficiency. The seasonal labor system that brought workers from across Egypt during flood seasons created sustainable workforce models that could be maintained for decades. Modern technology continues to reveal new secrets embedded in these ancient achievements. Cosmic ray detection has uncovered hidden chambers within the Great Pyramid. Satellite imagery has revealed extinct Nile branches that facilitated construction. And experimental archaeology has validated the effectiveness of ancient techniques. Each discovery shows that pyramid builders possess knowledge and capabilities we're only beginning to understand. The evolution of pyramid construction, from Djoser's experimental step pyramid through Sneferu's learning laboratory to Khufu's perfected vision, reveals ancient builders as innovative engineers constantly refining their techniques. They learned through trial and error, adapted to new challenges, and continuously improved their methods through systematic experimentation. The pyramids remind us that human potential has always been extraordinary. The same intelligence and creativity that drives modern innovation enabled early humans to move mountains of stone, achieve mathematical precision that astounds engineers today, and create monuments that have inspired wonder for 4,500 years. Their understanding of mathematics, astronomy, material science, and project management provided foundations for human civilization that continue to influence us today. The legacy of pyramid construction extends far beyond the monuments themselves. The organizational innovations, precision techniques, and workforce management systems developed for these projects established principles of large-scale coordination that enabled the growth of complex civilizations. What happened is that the infrastructure supporting pyramid building became more important than the pyramids themselves. The real advance was in organizing people for monumental achievements. The story of pyramid construction is ultimately a story about human potential, about what we can achieve when intelligence, creativity, and determination combine with effective organization and shared purpose. These early humans proved that, with the right combination of knowledge, skill, and cooperation, humans can create achievements that endure for millennia. Their legacy challenges us to recognize that human greatness isn't limited to modern times, but represents a continuous thread of innovation and achievement that stretches back to civilization's earliest days. The pyramids stand as eternal testimony to the remarkable capabilities of early humans who dared to reach toward the heavens and succeeded beyond their wildest dreams.